Very warm greetings from us here in Kassel. We'll be very happy if we could explain some bit to regard our process here for Documentas 15 in Kassel. But in particular, let me start to introduce myself. My name is Reza. I'm part of artist collective Ruangrupa from Jakarta, Indonesia. In our sense of introducing most of our practice and processes to regard our artistic approach is in the matter of Lumbung. Lumbung is Indonesian's language, and it's translated loosely as a rice barn. But in our particular practice toward our societies back in Indonesia, because ever since Indonesia also in the sense of archipelago, and it is have a strong gesture rooted that close to the earth, which is most of our practice is farming, also in agriculture. So we keep on practicing these notions to regard how we would like to approach each other by in the sense on getting more into strong relationships toward our dear family and friends in Indonesian context. And for introducing this Lumbung as a method, actually the most important thing for us to learn and also to have like close approach first is about trust. And then from trust, then suddenly you could have your own sense how you would like to manage and also to strengthen your relationships. And then on, suddenly you have like a value together how you could work together for every matters that arise in the certain communities or also in the larger community. So our practice actually based on how we could strengthen our notion about relationship and working together. And this is partly like our first introductions about this Lumbung as a method, because Lumbung actually is a structure beforehand, but what we see about this structure actually have a strong way of living structures as a social gesture when everybody could meet, everybody could share, everybody could tell every problem that arise. And in the other hands also, we don't try only to fix a problem, but to find a good way how we could gain an options, then we could work on to certain specific matter that we could adjust later on. So this is most about like how we evaluate ourselves in the societies, how we also would like to acknowledge like each of every one of us have like a very sufficient resource that we could share, and in the other hands how these notions becoming a knowledge in the practice, because that's much more important right now is on how we keep learning on each other's. And then this is like a very good access for us to like really acknowledge different kind of practice that mostly happen right now because of the Documentas 15, but we're thinking about the future forward after this.
And Documenta 15 is Lumbung number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
We because we always thinking like Documenta 15 is not merely about showing or showcasing or exhibitions. So that's why in the sense of how we introduce Lumbung within these collections right now articulated different kind of dialogue that arise because of the Documentas 15 in the sense of the event. So we call it mostly this is Lumbung number 1. Lumbung number 2 is to see how it's on the cycle later on, how it's grow together, because we don't want to change anything. But we try to accompany different experiences that could be as well as a bridge for us to keep learning all together. So we don't know about the Lumbung number 2 yet, but up until this point, what we believe, hopefully this is partly the seeds to our soil. And then for sure, there's going to be lots of different adjustment for us also to digest within this particular experience for Documentas 15, because this particular spirits actually it's already being known and practices everywhere, but to regard different contexts, different articulations, and different practices, this is the thing that we would like to acknowledge. Partly to also evaluate what's really going on within these collective practices as a whole, but also to criticize the way that how this collective is also working to keep sustaining and also acknowledge different struggle that exists.
Thank you.
Pleasure, such a thank you, and hopefully we could meet in person.